Any questions? Yes. Lock and across. Right. I'll go into detail in this later. But a side cross is a movement in which you're moving sideways. A lock step is a step where you're moving forwards to me. Yes? So our quick step, lock step, what are we doing? We're crossing the ankles. Yes? Our ankles cross, not our thighs, and we are locking down the room here. When we do a side cross, we are creating a movement in which we're moving on, rather like a feather finish. I've related it to a feather finish. So if I'm doing a side cross, I'm not stopping myself like so. I am moving across. So my movement goes on from a sideways position. And it can be very, very beautiful. If you're coming from promenade, you can create 1, 2, 3, 1. So you have a lot of rhythm coming through from that creation. Whereas the lock step is much straighter, yes? And you are much straighter with less rhythm in rotation. And I think the more we can rotate in dance through the basic idea of using the big muscles of the body here, your center muscles, then we have more rhythmic action to it. So that is the difference, but I'll show you a side cross in its full technique in the next session. Now, I've been asked 2 or 3 questions. The first one, to go through the step swing principle that I understand is a little confused in thinking from some people here. Because of past training and so on, like I was saying, my own training did not give me anything of this information, and I was completely relying on the Alex Moore technique book to guide me. And it doesn't come in that. It doesn't talk about it. The word swing is not in there. So, first of all, again, I talked about the head being the original movement. If I put my foot out, I'm not going anywhere. If I put my knee forward, I'm not going. Hips, I'm not going anywhere. Move my head, and I've got to go. Yes? So what happens then when we walk? Because dancing and walking, we must understand as they belong to each other, because that's what we're doing. And walking, having started, the foot goes down immediately. We don't balance between the feet like that and then try to go down afterwards. We have to when we're going backwards. We can't go backwards and drop the heel. That is the different action. When we're moving backwards, we must balance and try to catch our weight and lower the heel as the foot is passing, as we all try to describe on the backward walk. But forwards, feet pull us around the floor. Our feet pull. Our feet do not push. When we walk down the street, you don't push, 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 push off the foot at all. Your feet pull. They catch the floor and they pull you on until your head is in front again. Then the head weight goes through all the time. So that immediate flick down of the foot is very much part of the step into the swing principle. So if I'm describing it, my head weight commences, my body weight goes with it, and I'm controlling the timing and the rhythm of my movement, the length of it, etc., through the standing leg. 1, and my foot has gone down. That now is pulling my leg in. My continuation of weight, by being pulled through that foot, is now continuing until the leg swings, and the weight of the leg is then pulling the body with it until I rotate and decide whether I'm closing or passing my feet. So that is the step swing principle. And you can see each part of the body with its weight in movement will help the next part. But please think of the feet as pulling you across the floor and not pushing you across the floor. It's a lighter action, an easier action, and a movement that is very free in your movement of the body weight. Yes? Can you understand? So that is my feeling. I'm moving from my head weight. My body weight continues. I control it through the standing knee, and my foot goes onto the floor immediately. That lowering is like a hook on the floor that pulls. And you apply a different amount of pressure for the different types of rise we're using. Pressure to a waltz rise is just enough to get my body weight back up to its normal standing height for my commencement through the foot, and now I'm continuing my rise. Whereas a foxtrot type of rise, I'm getting the feeling of that pulling through the foot to rise. If I push through the foot, I'm going that way, I'm not going that way. And what I said at the beginning, think of movement and think about your line of dance to make yourself go across the room. Yes? Other things that I've discussed. In my terminology, in the names of the various actions, I've tried not to interfere with the original techniques, Alex Moore's techniques, names. So when I've tried to describe on the running spin turn as lady, or today's dancing, any spin turn you can say, the lady does not make a pivoting action, yes, because that would stop her, yes, and in the days that was danced where the hold was very low and it was danced very gently, that worked. But now I wanted to find a word that helped to understand her action to move on, and I called it a spin action. So that instead of a pivot action or pivoting action, I'm calling a spin action, where the lady is actually spinning past the man, going on through. Now this can be led very comfortably if you understand the contra body movement again. Martina, would you mind, please? You've got a day of up and down, I'm sorry. No, forget about that. I love it. That if we're going into this, I'm going to use my CBM to let the lady pass me. Yes? I'm not trying to turn her in place like so. Yeah? So I want her to pass me, then I catch her. Yes? To make my spin action. And if we're doing a running spin turn, I want that very, very strongly from the lady to create the run and to create the strength of movement down the room. Thank you. Perhaps you can stay here just for the moment because I'll need you straight away. So that's my definition of the spin action, the movement to move on. You will do that, man and lady, really, when you make continuous spins across the room. Say in a waltz, you can make the continuous spins down the room, and then I'll be doing it as well as the lady doing it. So we spin and pivot, spin, spin and pivot all the way down the room like so. Yes? So that becomes the spin action for both man and lady on the other halves then. Okay? Next thing I have to discuss, and I haven't got round to it yet, so many things to talk about, is head weight. And this, of course, is so important, both what I say from the beginning to actually move, and also to create the emotional value and the lady's help to the man in the movement. May I show you again, please? Let's take a simple figure like a hover to promenade position in the waltz. Now, if the lady turns her head, I don't feel anything. There's no reaction to me. But if she follows my hips and keeps herself in the line of my body that way, you see, she's itching to turn, but I don't want her to turn yet because I haven't finished with her yet. So I'm still there. Now she comes over with her head weight. Now I feel that I'm getting help from her in my movement because her head weight has helped my movement in that direction. So, if I may, I want to feel the lady does not do tick-tock, except in tango, but that's a different matter. In the swing dances, it's there to there, there to there. Yes? Now, this is difficult for many ladies to understand, first of all, because they've gone from the beginning with the expression, turn your head to the right or turn your head to the left, which we've all done. I've done it. Now I'm saying in my teaching, use your head weight to the right, your head weight to the left. It becomes much more emotional, much more feminine, and much more of a help to the man. So again, if we're just hovering to promenade, here we're feeling it, and then we have a togetherness. I, as man, cannot do that. You know, I would have to have a handbag if I was going to do this thing as man. Yes? Sorry about that. I should always look round and see if anybody's drinking a cup of coffee before I do that. The man will use his head weight to promenade, and indeed can have the head weight to the right and look at his lady, but then the movement is sideways to there. He is feeling his head weight. Yeah? Another thing, you know, I'm not just talking about the book, but I'm trying to think of things that I find in teaching and things that may help. The big problem, I think, is so much hardness and tension comes from the man looking, yeah, you see. Now, I didn't try to do anything different to my hands then, but Martina suffered straight away. Human beings, if we're looking at each other, our head's there. Now, if you say to me, Jeff, look at the lady and gentleman on that table there, I do this, I'm getting stiff, I turn, hello there. Yes, now I've relaxed myself by turning my body. Yeah? So if I'm walking forwards in this position, and I'm looking this way as I do it, it's wrong. Yeah? It's wrong in my body. It's a tightness, and that tension's going to go into the lady. So we're working harder than we should be. Now, if I can give myself a window, perhaps again, of keeping my nose between my hand and the lady's head, here, now my nose is going over my toes. That's a very old expression in dancing in England, keep your nose over your toes. And I think it works very, very well. But if I go past that, I'm giving tension to my lady. So I always try to help the couples by saying, keep your nose inside here. Yes? All the time here. You know what I was talking about in the tango promenade? I'm virtually doing the same in a waltz chassé. It's a forward and across, but 5 centimeters across. I'm not going down the room this way. I'm going this way. And now my chassé develops along the line of dance, like the tango promenade action. It's the same thing. I'm going that way, and then I'm chasséing in. So hopefully, the two things, if I get my head right, and the lady is quite happy with me, I can use my body to lead her from that promenade into that. My legs do it, but I'm sorry, my sweetheart, but you knew it was coming, didn't you? That the feeling is nothing for the lady. Just forwards, just forwards. Thank you very much.
I was ready.
That's it. You'd be great at the washing up at home. I'll let you do it all the time. When we dance, you see, it is a matter of the lady being true to the consequence, yes, of feeling your body to the man and only doing the direction he's giving you. If I can just go back on lead one moment, really, all I'm saying is, that's my lead. Now, the lady keeps going. This is perfect until I say, that way. Or until I say, no, we don't. We want to come this way. And she keeps going until I say, please stop. Yes? That is it. That's all. That's all I'm doing to her, is giving her a direction. And the direction I'm giving her is out of my body, not out of my hands. I think the left hand, if you go into it deeply, and do you notice the hold? Flat here, breaking the lady's wrist back slightly, gives me control of her body in the direction sideways, she knows how big a step that's going to be purely from that left hand. If I take that away and I start moving, she doesn't know where I am, yes? So that left hand holding that way is very important, and also I think is stylish. It has more style. If I'm holding my hands like that, or like that, that doesn't look very stylish. That does. If I'm looking at a Latin hand finishing and wanted to finish it, it'll be along the wrist there. Put my hands into a standard hold, they stay the same. Yes? Tango, we want to make a difference. So in tango, this would be, if we did a lunge, for example, in the tango hold, and I had my hand here and dragged her up, it looked a little bit silly, doesn't have a character, so I'd change it to break my wrist back. Now I feel it has that, yeah, wah, that we can get it. Sorry. No. All the time we're thinking of style, we're thinking of beauty, and the shaping of hands, etc., makes it very, very important to have that. Now, you get many teachers at a very, very advanced level who are teaching champions don't agree with that. They want the hand turned in towards the lady. Whatever works for that couple, if they get the success out of it, that is good. But what I'm suggesting are things that are mechanically very, very strong. And really, the definition of technique, what the word means in the dictionary, is the mechanical skill in art. Yes? So a painter must know how to make a thick brush line or a thin brush line, a heavy amount of paint, a light amount of paint. The pianist must know how to use the fingers. The mechanics must have skill. Yes? You must be clever in your mechanical activity all the time to have that skill. Head weight in many movements is essential for the balance of the figure because it follows basically the sway line, doesn't it? If I've got a sway line, my head is there. You'll notice in the book that when it is in normal position, I'm saying we are centered. When I have a slight headline to the right, in which I may look at my lady. Now again, we were always taught at the beginning, you don't look at your lady, you look past her. And this, I think, has created some very, very poor shapes in the photographs I see of couples, and also stops the emotion, yes? If I want to please dance an oversway with you, yes? And we want to feel that I've created the feeling here of an oversway. I want to look at Martina, I want to smile at her, I want to talk to her here until I bring her out, and then my head weight is on my way to help me move, yes? You know, think about coming back into this business. I'd love to go back. When you dance these movements, it's all to be on balance and to be shaped, but to create the emotion of the music. If you've got a beautiful romantic waltz, I want to feel romantic, and I don't want to feel that I'm asking for a photograph as we do it. No, so often you see. Yeah? What happens there? I'm killing her back. She will not love me. I'm going home and I've got to do the washing up. And I don't want to. Yes? I want to have that respect for my lady that I'm always with her. So can I also talk about head weight on the line figures now? I'm having to move around quite quickly because it's important to understand the requirements of the head in many, many aspects. The definition of a line is of a curved or straight action in which there's no breadth. Yes, a line is thin. So when we talk about a line figure, we don't want to see breadth in the way that it's gone out away from itself. We want breadth between each other, but if we do a throwaway oversway this time, please, but don't do it. Wait for Jeffrey. And 1, 2. Now we get the set up position here. Now you see, I've led the way with my head weight over to my left foot, but I haven't disturbed the lady. She's still swinging forwards here. She's still moving forwards. Now my upper body follows my lower body, and I keep moving to her. I keep moving to her. I keep moving to her until she's satisfied with what she wants to do. Yes? How often do we see this? And right at the very top standard of the world of dance today, still this feeling, I've got to make it bigger. Yeah? But in actual fact, gentlemen, by you going the wrong way, you made the lady smaller. So you might have felt good for a photograph, look at me, but the poor lady is still here. Yes? So we must try to think of our head weight as continuing into any line. Yes? So we just do that once again. If I'm going into this figure, I want to feel that I'm going into my lady to sell her action, to bring her out, and away we go. Same thing happens if we do a lunge or a same-foot lunge. If I'm doing a lunge action, a normal lunge here, I want to feel I go into my lady there, and not to get halfway in and say, yeah, you see, she doesn't know. She doesn't know. So, program, you've got to get your head out there, right? Yes? So don't make that mistake again. That is what happens. And then the man says, you feel heavy. Of course she's heavy, because she's now out of the balance of it by forcing her own body into a line. I'm going to jump around a little now. I made so many notes, so many cards, and I was going to go through step by step, but unfortunately, time is too short. When we consider a lunge, or a same-foot lunge, what is the first foot position? Now, I say so many times, I see this. 1, 2, 3. So the picture is not bad. Where was the rhythm? It was one of these, wasn't it? I said at the beginning, it had no rhythm. Yeah? Why? Because I was unable to turn my hips. So the lady was just doing the step. I was programmed. I have to do a lunge there. So what do I want to feel? I want to feel a forward step. Yes? So already I have the lady in a very attractive position. You see how Martina was able to change her feeling then and use her head weight in a different way. Yes? I'm giving her an open feeling to use herself. Yes? But I have turned, and if I want to keep her turning, I have turned through my hips and my knees again. All the work is being done from down here. Now let me show you again. If I go sideways into it, let's do it this way around a little so the other people can see. Okay. We go into it here, and however hard you try to go, my nose is still on your ear there. I'm very, very close to you. But if I separate you first by going forwards and now let you go through, you have so much more expression and so much wider in the shape of our line together. But my line, hopefully, is still thin. It's narrow, because I'm going there. I'm not doing that. Yes? So I want my head weight to continue its movement all the time. This is what we're talking from the very beginning. I'm starting it, and it's got to go on. Through my step swing principle, through all the actions, it has to go on. Yes? Okay? Was there another question I got asked that I haven't answered? I think it was just that step swing principle and the spin action. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll come on to that. Yes. Okay, so are we happy now with that feeling? First of all, I think I better describe the telespin because it is quite complex, isn't it? The telespin that I'm suggesting in the book, not everybody dances it this way, a lot of people do, and I think it's beautiful. When you dance the telemark action into it, you're lowering early, that heel will come down, and you're thinking of back and slightly sideways. Yeah? Back and slightly sideways. Not the normal telemark position. Why? Because my lady has to pass me. And I don't want her just getting her hips round in front of me here. I want to be asking her with my body weight to move forwards at that moment. Now, if I turn on my foot, as you would expect, I have not moved at all. I'm there. So I want to move with my lady. So I turn on my heel, and now I've moved the length of my foot down the room. That gives me the possibility to rise now and take my following figure, whatever it may be. Yes? So I just did that for you again. So I'm using the early lowering to get the control of her and through into my footwork that way. Yep. Now that takes a bit of training because it's very different from what most people have done. But most people do that to get the lady through. And my theory is that we don't want to do this to the lady at all. So I am quite happy just to let my body weight talk and take the lady through in that manner. Yes? The third step is a backing step. The second step I'm lowering, not with weight. I'm going back onto my toe, but the foot, and you'll see that there I put H in brackets, the heel in brackets, to show that it's a late lowering and there's no true weight on it. But it's given me the possibility to be earlier through onto my heel, because now I want to get that rotation, a half a turn, to face that way. Is that your question? Well, the lowering is through the third step, yes. The lowering is through the third step. I'm there, but because I want to be earlier on the foot, this will be down at that time. Yes? I'm not saying you lower there and then step. No. I'm still on my toe, and that lowers late. Yes? Okay? So now with the lady, I'm not trying to lead her as such. I want to feel that she is, you know the step too well, don't you? Yeah? You don't know the figure now.
Okay.
We're going to do a weave. Yeah? Or anything. And 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 2. And away we go. Yes? So she comes through me without me leading her with my hands. Yes? I'll try that once again. And 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 2, and away we go. And I could go into a line figure or whatever from there. Thank you. Yes? Now that same action goes into telly swivels. Can we dance in all the dances? And if I'm doing a telly swivel, I'm doing the same action to here, same action until I swing here. And now there's a new terminology. A thrown contra body movement position. That. I throw that left leg in behind the right foot to give me CBMP. Yes? Thrown CBMP. Got that from a man called Eric Hancox about 50 years ago, who told me that. It is not a name I've seen anywhere else, though. But I think it applies very much to that. Because if I'm just going into this and feeling that I'm stepping into CBMP, I'm there. The lady will not be able to do her outside swivel with comfort. I'll be pulling her. So I have to get this feeling. It's underneath me. And that's quite stylish. It's nice to do. It's a good feeling as well to that. It's a change feeling from the normal. Yeah? The lady... Again, our normal reverse swivel we do in tango, she is taking the side step and then the swivel comes through for the heel lead. This speed, you can't do a heel lead. At this speed and the man's action, you can't do a true swivel. So she's doing almost like a hip twist, the rumba hip twist you can think of it as. She's passing the man on this foot here, she's swinging up to here, she's closing in and hip twist. Yes? Can we try that, please? So, try to show you that one. 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 2, 3, and 1. Yes, now because we've never practiced before, we've never danced together before, we are doing it rather independently, but now do nothing.
And can't be dancing as men. So.
Yeah, I can tell. You're a beautiful lady. You're lovely to dance with. So, ready, and one, and nothing at all. And away. Just a little help in the swivel, wasn't it? But you see, that is what I'm talking about, is the absolute, which you can only get through training, you know. The lady must trust the man. Martina today cannot trust me because we've never practiced this together. She doesn't know whether she's going to finish on her back or what when you do a step that fast. So the survival kicks in and you make it happen. Yes? It is only when you practice that you can trust the man who's going to do the same thing to create that, and you can relax and truly follow it. Yeah? So that is the type of telespin we're going to do. Now, other thoughts. Take the oversway, throw away oversway, whatever. We have many line figures I've tried to describe, and they come to the start position always. I want the start position, if I may, Martin, again, to give the lady a fullness of balance of herself and the bigness here, first of all, that she's laying her head weight out. Now, if we're dancing together for a long time, I'd say, can you do a little bit more head weight for me out? And a little more. Thank you. Now I throw you away, and she can do something, and she can create, and we can float out as we wish to. Yes? That is what I think can create it much more beautifully. So what is our technique, gentlemen? We get the toe turned in here, because I want a very strong turn out on this position. But my body, though I'm pointing diagonally wall here, my body is facing between wall and diagonally wall against the line of dance. Yeah? Now my hips and my knees can work. And this happens on all your oversway family figures. Oversway, throwaway, hinge, even the left whisk. If I'm doing a left whisk, I want to do the same to here, into it to there. Yes, the same there. It's not in the book as such because it's already written in the other technique book. Do nothing, please. Just forwards. There. That's it. To there. You see how late my body is? I'm making a platform for her, really, to enjoy her own expression out here. Now, doing nothing again, I put her into it. Yes? Go. That's right. And to there. So that is what I'm attempting the whole time, is to use the big muscles of the body to lead and not put the lady there early. I like rhythm of the man creating his body. Again, it's not, I'm having to stop, like all technique, you've got to stop to show the point. But in the dancing of it, this is all continuous, of course, but you understand which parts work before the other parts, yes? That I'm taking out. This is underturned, so there's a separation of my body here, which now catches up with me to make the last line. Same foot lunge. Same principle. What are we trying to do on that? Create space again. So instead of taking the lady into myself, into my position here, which I have her side of her hip line here and body in the inside of my right thigh and going like this, I feel, oh, we're out of balance, yes? Because I have no control over my partner. We can make it work, yes, through practice. We just do it until we got our balance. But if I feel, again, rotation into it, forward step into it, yes, now I have the balance. The lady can do her action, and I'm leading her from what I am feeling. You see my hips and legs working slightly there to create that, yeah? So that is my feeling of that figure. One figure you might not know, or two figures actually, a left lunge. Now, what is a left lunge? I've been showing it to you now for quite a few times in the underturned variation of it, and that is the preparation for an oversway. 1, 2, where my body is underturned and we're there. Now, if we do nothing, and just stay there, but let the knees just work, and you can fold it in. We can lunge that way, which is a lovely feeling to roll out to a lunge that way. And again, you see how much I'm admiring her with my face and loving her as I'm doing it, yes? Emotionally, I hope I'm giving a feeling through my upper body as I do those things, rather than yeah, I'm standing correctly. I don't feel anything. My face, I should think, has got a mask on it because I'm not being emotional. But if I can enjoy my partner's work as well, if I can feel that we're here and then roll her into whatever I want to do next, I think I can start enjoying it. Thank you. So there we have that figure. The other one is the right hinge. Now, why did I include that? Because it is a same-foot lunge, but with an overturn. And I wanted to try to show how it differs. And if I may please, not using an entry figure as I've done in the book, but going straight into it here, we've got our same-foot lunge shape. Now, I've said here that I'm going diagonally forward to end to the side. But on the right hinge, I'm going diagonally forward and staying diagonally forward, and the lady can lock in, if you like, lift the foot across, you're quite close to the floor, and we can get that overturn. And again, my head is still going to the lady. Yes? The Eros line. So often I see this very stressed because the man steps back, takes a normal side step, and then pulls away from the lady to try to hold his balance like that. Now the technique there will be a heel pull, a wide step heel pull, straightening the knee and carrying the head weight towards the lady to enable her to feel 3 and 1. And she's on her own balance, you see. Perfect. Yes, thank you. All those movements are so essential to give the lady respect, that she has to have her own balance and her own rhythm and her own wish to perform. Because when we get out there on that competition floor, you forget your technique, you go out there and perform. Your technique has been your practice. Your technique is there underneath you to hold you up all the time. But you cannot think of your technique when you're out there. You perform it and you give yourself to the lady all the time with your body weight, so she is secure, and this, I hope, comes through the words in the book. Any questions? I had a question about the side cross or a lock action. When we do a side cross, it can be just a normal side cross. Yes? I've moved across. I want movement. It's equal to a movement of a feather finish. If I'm doing a lock step, I'm going forwards. Yes? So a lock step as such does not have so much body rhythm as a side cross. So if I'm coming from, say, a running spin turn, a syncopated side cross, I want movement like so. So my left foot will finish pointing the line of dance. My right foot has turned, we're going diagonally center. How does that work with the lady? It is a little bit similar to a wing as far as the turn is concerned. If you remember the wing in the technique book, the lady finishes on the line of dance here, and she turns between the last step here and the first step of the following figure. And I think the same thing happens on a side cross. If we can, please see if this does work. Just a basic side cross. 1 and 2, 3. Now, if you don't move so much, thank you. Now, that's it. You're backing the line of dance, yeah? But my foot has got diagonally center. So rather like the wing, I'm there, and the lady makes her next action to catch up with her, with the man here, and we have that alignment. But can you see how much I've gone across? Which now comes to another technical subject, sway. In normal turns in, say, a waltz, we have what I believe is a lateral sway, a sideways sway to the movement here. My movement's going that way, my sway is this way. But if I'm dancing a feather step, for example, it becomes a linear sway. I cannot do the same sway because I have no real rotation. So my sway is in the line of my movement. My sway is in the line of my movement. So my head weight is still on the left side, and I have my sway that way. I try on all the turns there to have the same idea, that my sway is not there, but I'm creating sway on the linear field to there, to there. Now I can create my linear sway again to there. So when I'm coming through that, my linear sway again, the linear sway. Yes? So there is a difference in the type of sway we use depending on the figures we use. And when you think of slow foxtrot, it's a very different feeling to that of a waltz, because the foxtrot is more of a straight line dance, isn't it? And not so much rotation as we get in the waltz. So when we come through to thinking of sway in this side cross, we're thinking of linear sway, because I'll try and show you, if I may, how we're doing. Oh my God. You see, I'm crushing into her. I'm destroying her body. She's had to go very hard to support my weight, and we're not going to dance the next step very well. But if I'm doing here and think of linear sway, the lady is happy again. Yes? Can you see the difference?
I couldn't cross.
You didn't cross that, no? No, no, that's right. You see, she could not feel the crossing, making the foot move across before the other way she can. So that is the importance, again, of the body weight in the way we sway and understanding of what type of sway we want. I've done a lot on the hover cross actions in the dance. Just 2 minutes and I'll finish. Don't want to keep Massimo sitting down for too long. Now, the original technique of the hover cross was changed, and it was supposedly made easier by what we have in the technique books now, with the right toe of the man pointing on the diagonal, stepping across, and then coming out into the feather step. That I found very, very difficult. And I was judging with Alex Moore once, and he said, "Do you think the new version is better than the old one?" I said, "No, I feel the old one was much better." He said, "So do I." And he regretted it was changed. But it was a committee decision, so he could not keep it. What was the old one? 1, 2 as normal. 3, right foot back and slightly to the side. 4, left foot moves across. And look at the foot position I have now. Again, the toe turned in situation of the balance point there. Why? Because now I can extend my labia myself and come out with a beautiful balance. And the coming out, again, is like a hover feather. So I have a slight left sway that comes from the previous step. I'm feeling here, and then I straighten out. Because if I try to change there on the sway, I'm not swaying truly. I'm just tilting my body, and that will stop me moving. I need the step swing principle to give me sway. Here I have no step swing, so all I can do is to hold the line of it that way. Now, the more you want to turn, it becomes more of the type of natural telemark. If I want to go through into a turn to a same foot lunge or something like that, then I'm overturning it. Yes, then it becomes the side step. But anything that's going out and wants to go out that way, then please, you must try to take it with a different feeling. And again, I've described that in the book where it's been necessary. But experiment with that, please, gentlemen. Again, you see you're keeping your centers easily onto the toe. Yes? Easily on the toe there. Yeah? If you've got here, you're not centered on the toe, and then the arms come in to get the lady back, because she will feel very heavy for you because she's not in your center anymore. Well, I'm afraid time has beaten us. I'd like to say thank you very much, Martina, for the invitation. Thank you for all your colleagues who've worked with you for this wonderful Congress for dance trainers. It's my first experience here. I've really enjoyed being able to talk to you. I hope that's been helpful, and I hope you'll find some ideas in the book, you know, the things about the promenade, thinking, wah, ba, ba, the chassis, wham, ba, 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 and so on. Those things, the understanding where the head is and where the head weight is, how the lady can help, and how she become much more feminine and can create the feelings in her dancing rather than just doing the program. Yeah? So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Biggie, again, for taking on this job of the book, and all your colleagues have helped. Very grateful to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Happy dancing to you all. Thank you.